Metropolis. Emerald City, Xanadu, Babylon, to the ISS, and the rest of you. Saturday night, Sunday morning. It is 1 a.m. Eastern. Sunday morning, 9 a.m. Moscow. It is 3 p.m. in Tokyo, and it is 10 p.m. in Sherman Oaks, California. Here are your headlines from around the world. Now, let's see if I can make sure that I can see scrolls. And yes, all right. So, I have been giving a great deal of thought about this book in what I said last night about when I stopped writing, when I started again, and the vast majority of this being one set of serious notes that I think should be readdressed. And I gave a lot of thought about it today, or tried to at least. And I am going to try and figure out a way to, as I mentioned, highlight the three. There's no way I'm going to run through 30 days of 3 to 4 pages a day of notes. That would be irritating. And I don't want to do that. But I do want to highlight, hey, they said this. Now let's take a look at X, Y, Z, A, B, C, and 1, 2, 3. And let's compare it. We could do some fact checking. So welcome to the #1 podcast that nobody knows about and even fewer people watch. I'm Scooter McGee. You can find me on the World Wide Web at scootermcgee.com. SCOOTERMCGEE.com. Next, headlines 3, 26, and now 27, depending upon the world you were or are, 2022. We now have volcanic activity in the Philippines. Oh, good. There are now, this is confirmed, microplastics are now being found in the human blood supply. Excuse me? Microplastics are now being found in the human blood supply. Hashtag Ukrainian strong. I know. Microplastics were found, now found, not were, like in the Atlanteans, are now being found in the human blood supply. Okay. Regarding the propaganda coming out of the Kremlin and Moscow and Russia, Russia says it has been victorious now in its first phase in Ukraine. I still believe and suggest that everybody who keeps calling him a madman and a lunatic needs to be versed in the Soviet mentality and understanding your enemy of Vladimir Putin as an East German Stasi and understanding the fall of the talking. We'll get to all of Biden's talking points. You want to bring up the fall of the Berlin Wall and the CIA and all the nonsense and organized crime when it came to Moscow with the collapse of Soviet Union, St. Petersburg and Leningrad and the rest of that, and then the breakup of the wall and all of the border countries. You should be versed a little bit better in history before you start yelling madman without understanding the Soviet mentality. That's all I'm saying. Russia is no longer in control of Kherson. And in these notes, again, well, here's when they said it fell, and here's when they said it didn't, and here's when the Russians no longer control Kherson. And the interesting thing about that, that was the first city to fall, allegedly. Okay? Allegedly. Because remember, they kept, Kyiv has fallen. Kyiv is falling. Kyiv is about to fall. Kyiv is under siege. In that order. And they're all in here because we're at the end of this book. And what President Biden said in Poland today should scare it out of all of you. 10 notebooks are now sitting right off camera. No, yeah, it's only March. President Biden, of course, on his International Emergency Summit peacekeeping, I'll get to the talking points of the Biden speech. It was a campaign speech. I don't know what is going on. Talking to the 82nd Airborne and to the NATO troops about where the war is going and where they'll be going, and continued assurances and promises of no troops. From the podium off script, President Biden said Vladimir Putin's got to go. White House is going, oh, stop that. We're going to have to change the transcripts. Cannot be allowed to be in power. There has been an oil refinery attack in Jeddah. So you might want to jump on your maps and find out where that is and why. They're really on the BBC focusing about the World Cup and the soccer, while one of the World Cup soccer games was going on just nearby where the oil refinery got attacked. Oh, okay. Another $1 billion is being promised to the Ukrainians now from President Biden um, in humanitarian aid. Reports now that even some of the aid is getting there. The Russians seem to be blocking a lot of it and or confiscating it or preventing its delivery. Yeah, you're not the Red Cross. How is this humanitarian aid? All this big money boondoggle. Talking, President Biden mentioning $600+ million over the years to our partners in Ukraine, with now sending billions, and here's another $1 billion, and that's what he promised. There's a couple other ones. The COVID infection rate across the Northeast is now allegedly up 11% in parts of the Northeast. Bird flu is continuing to claim victims to hundreds of thousands of chickens across over a half a dozen states now, decimating the poultry industry, further worrying some companies that there may be shortages. President Biden has made it very clear to the world and to America, prepare for real shortages. Do they know something we don't? Continued assurances, by the way, is the Western intelligence community. So these are the same community members where some of them signed off on, that's not real, that's Russian disinformation. The laptop hunter is real, and the deal was done, and that conspiracy fell apart once the truth came out in all of 36 hours. And it was the October surprise. It was designed to get the truth out of the. Holy no! Don't let him anywhere near the keys to the outhouse. And this all part of the Steele dossier that was all smoke and mirrors from the 2016 Clinton campaign. Oh, sorry. Is she out of quarantine yet from COVID? She announced she had it, you know. The national gas average is now $4.31 a gallon. The governor of California will not be allowing for a gas tax suspension of any kind, or we're not. No, no, no. However, you may be eligible for a $400 gift card. Worse than the rebate idea. Get them to spend more. All right. Couple others of data points on Friday. 324. 325, excuse me. Denver, Colorado, federal lawsuit regarding George Floyd. $14 million settlement regarding 12. See, now I'm not versed in this. They were suing the city because they were mistreated at a largely peaceful protest. There were 12. They call themselves victims, but that's not what the court calls them. Plaintiffs in the case that the Denver police used excessive force along with improper training, claiming that their First and Fourth Amendment rights were violated A jury has found the victims victorious. $14 million settlement. The media was so the nodding and the affirmations and the cheers outside the courthouse as protesters and peaceful. This is Colorado, another first for Colorado, as this will allow precedent for many of the other cities, of which there were all largely peaceful protests in which people were behaving very badly, and the lawyers and the victims make a lot of money. Outstanding. Colorado should be proud. Scooter Damas hopes he's been wrong, but 14 million, that's money and set precedents in cases future to come. You can see him drooling. Vladimir Putin alleges that the West is now trying to cancel his country. Cancel culture is rampant around the world, and it is very clear the West, led by President Joseph Biden, is attempting to cancel his, being Vladimir Putin's, country. President Biden, okay, here we go. All right, we're going to need to have a coconut flavor. Everybody breathe. Everybody breathe, okay? We're going to run through these one and done. This may not even be 30 minutes because I may wind up either giggling or puking. Tonight, I encourage all of you to watch the movie 2010, where the National Security Advisor is outside the White House, across the street, sitting with Dr. Haywood Floyd. Dr. Floyd, you want me to talk you into getting on a 20 to this maybe, because we got to get the Americans and the Russians and we got to get up to Hal because we got to fix it. Hal, there's nothing wrong with Hal. You guys lied to a computer and the computer went up in space. And no wonder it killed its own. Yeah. Okay. You may see some of these headlines in there. 2010, the sequel to 2001: A Space Odyssey. President Biden, he's in Poland to see the humanitarian crisis firsthand. You thought you were coming here for ice cream, Uncle Joe? It's not about politics. He has to tell the world in what is supposed to be one of his most significant addresses to the world, coming first out of the gun, that he is here in Poland to see the humanitarian crisis firsthand. 2 million Ukrainian refugees alone in Poland. Yes, Scooter Damas pointed out it's going to be 10 million, and the only word they're using to associate 10 million Ukrainians right now are displaced, because they don't have a roof over their heads, and they don't have food in their stomachs, and they don't have health care. President Biden, we'll get ahead 3 pages of this nonsense because it's all about green and it's all about climate and it's all about a need now. We need to do this now, as the war is going to go on for years. Smoky treat. President Obama, he almost did it again. President Biden comparing the savage, brutal, vicious, unjust. Are you just? What's just? Unjust. Adjust? Unjust. It's an unjust war. Guards. Oh. He's comparing the Russian invasion of Ukraine to Tiananmen Square, saying it's Tiananmen Square squared. No, there's not a buffering issue. Tiananmen Square squared. Joe, can you do this? Please, please, please. Because if anybody in the White House can't do this, you have to go. Now. Right, I haven't done that trick. I haven't done that since the days at Alice. 2007, 6, 4 to 6. I would do that to piss somebody off. I think that's the first time I've ever done that sober, however. We'll have to check the archives. The speech also was interesting. The Freudian slips I've been making about President Obama, former President Obama, major Freudian slip, and being able to do it from a headpiece downstairs in the basement. It was immediately noticed when President Biden started to address in Poland that they were joking. Hey, the sound guy is way off. Joe Biden must have had a booster shot or a vitamin shot or something. Obama echo is back. Exclamation mark, question mark, exclamation mark. And then the whispering again. Oh man, the poor sound guy. As I said, in the original calculation of numbers, when the Russians announced that there were 498 dead, I said, let's just do straight numbers in the power of 10 at 100,000 or 150 or what was alleged 180 or 200,000 troops. President Biden in Poland said there are 180,000 Russian troops in Ukraine. That's 3 weeks later. Thanks, Uncle Joe. You were so impressed in the media of how intelligence was being shared in the community, and you weren't telling the American public jack squat. President Biden alleges that we will decimate the Russian economy and cut it in half over the next several years. The reality is that it's already been reported that in the first 30 days of the war, the Russian economy has been devastated by 50%. Well done, Joe. He said that the Russian ruble has been reduced to rubble. Vladimir Putin seems to, however, want you to be purchasing, if you're going to purchase his oil, in rubles. Joe, come on. Start like it just nice and slow. Spend about 3 weeks doing this, okay? And then learn to get really fast. And then so you take your other one and you just run in a circle, okay? It's not that tough. You want me to really with you? Do you really? Circus clown Ringling Brothers, you don't think so, huh? Talk to me like that. I raised 11 damn children. The echo is back. The ruble is reduced to rubble. Vladimir Putin is to blame. High prices, the shortages, the crisis, the humanitarian horror, the disruption of the global economy, the need, immediate, unprecedented need to glow green and go with the climate change initiatives to end the fossil fuel dilemma. As President Biden makes a deal with Europe to give our natural gas to them that we're not allowed to use to offset our raising gas prices and getting it. These may no longer be people incompetent. There may now be actual record of evidence in the last 30 days alone that they may be in cahoots. I'll leave it for you to decide. You guys should be allowed to make comments. I don't know if I can try to take them. Yes, we're going to take comments and questions if you have them. Don't red flag yourself. There you go. The question may come up on the screen. Vladimir Putin is to blame. Period. Is what you, period. Not whispering. Joe's getting really good at hitting that mark. He says we have a sacred obligation under Article 5, under NATO, to protect every inch of soil. Regarding the $1 billion more of humanitarian relief and how much less we used to give over years, President Biden was strong in pointing out that some relief is getting to the Ukrainians. Continuing to ramble about okay, everybody breathe now. President Biden says that faith sees best in the dark. The crow flies south at midnight. The chair is against the wall, and John has a small penis, weighs 400 pounds, and is not wearing any clothes. President Biden just said, okay, come on, you can do this. You can do this. I'm telling you, it's not that tough. He went on to talk about the battle between democracy and the autocrats. The autocrats, is that like the robobots? They're going to be the autocrats there. The autocrats is the aristocrats 2.0. Oh, you're kidding me. Because that's where the book ends with the three jokes, which was designed originally to, there is no way in the universe, because I just explained this 2 nights ago to somebody, of why this book was started to reverse engineer the aristocrats. Oh, we hope everybody and your mother told you to never even put any words down. Well, I stopped at 12 pages and I just put the book back in my, criminal file. This is a battle between the democracies and the autocrats. It's a family act. You have an ambassador, a couple of liaisons, and an intern, and they come into Stacey Abrams' Intergalactic Federation of Planets office. They do a family act. First stand-up comic that steals that one's yours. He always goes dark. He never affirms the positive, and he goes dark. He went right from the autocrats to the aristocrats. So back to my initial reference of 2010, the sequel. It's when the National Security Advisors, I'm talking to Dr. Haywood Floyd, because you have this crazy idea that you guys are going to go, uh-huh. They get up there and they realize Haywood and the Americans, and they're taking a ride on the Russians, and the Russian propaganda makes it look good, helping a few worthless Americans. And then they discover chloroform on Io. And that sets it into motion. Meanwhile, the politics back in the United States, well, we've had some viruses and an economic collapse, and the Russians and the United States are facing World War III. So you're going to have to get off their space station right now. In one of the uncoded, Dr. Floyd, why aren't you answering these encoded transmissions? You need to get a hold of us right now, because they're up in space going, holy, we're about to die. We got to get out of here now. You've been drinking your whiskey from Tennessee. Watch 2010, Roy Scheider in a cast. It's a John Lithgow, great movie. Here's the quote. By the way, President Biden is quoting Abraham Lincoln. From Pope John Paul II to Lech Walesa to Tiananmen Square squared. Oh, dear God, he's bringing up Lincoln. Now, remember the National Security Advisor in 2010, he is black. He's not African American in 2010 in the movie that was made around after 2001, because the original 2001 wasn't made in 2001. Yeah. Oh, dear God. The president had a national address last night to evacuate all the embassies, and that means he started quoting Lincoln. Every time a president quotes Lincoln, I get scared. That's the National Security Advisor. He gets scared when the president quotes Lincoln. Well, President Biden did it from Poland on his international comedic tour, running a bunch of new campaign speech lines, talking about a budding democracy, and that democracies, we are required. Democracies of the world are now revitalized, and the democracies must all stand together and stand up and fight the evil Vladimir Putin. Okay. Again, he's quoting Lincoln, talking about the democracy and the people of what they need in Ukraine. Freedom, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, the freedom to assemble, the freedom to vote. All right, all right. Who's writing the talking points here? Which party are you on? And you're supposed to take one of your most significant addresses to the world, and you're running campaign talking points, not from your normal particular platform, sir. He brings up Abraham Lincoln and the quote, right makes might versus might makes right, right makes might. Tiananmen Square squared. Okay. Elon Musk has to be right. We have to be living in a matrix. And the writing staff of Captain Kangaroo and Romper Room are in charge of the White House, or at least on this trip. Again, the doomsday plane, we talk about oil and resources and everything else. I just want, they are literally providing air cover and protection and a possible command control center for the Dork Brigade. I don't know what else to call them. The Russian people are not our enemy. Russians are good. Putin is bad. Vladimir Putin must go. Vladimir Putin must not allow to remain in power. And I said this last night, Friday, in the Take Out the Trash. I can't wait for tomorrow morning. The meet up Chuck Todd and George Papadopoulos and the rest of the crack staff. Their heads are spinning because they don't know how to manage these headlines. They are so out of control. President, careful. Which one? President Biden says that Vladimir Putin is taking Russia back to the 19th century. And I was outside writing notes and I went, yay, we're going back to the czars. Only Vladimir Putin, and it is Vladimir Putin, who can and must end this war. No, the ones who started don't end it. Right makes might. Might me. Sorry, I'm okay. Continued calls to move due to the absolute significant strategic military and national security importance to green, clean energy now. President Biden assures us that he's going to fight the corruption in the Kremlin. Okay, Uncle Joe. All right, look, I'm really sorry. We didn't run. I said I'd run about 20 minutes and get in and out, and we're done. No questions. Good. No monitors. Good. The Sunday morning talk shows and the talking points. And this was just a few of them, but I am going to figure out a way to take the 30 days of notes, highlight, I guess, the green, the yellow, and the orange highlighters, and determine which ones we should just, hey, on this day, and on this day, and on this day, and on this day, and on this day. Oh, Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas. Yeah, his wife's in the news. Wives are always in the news for the texting nonsense. Remember last Friday, I'm sorry, on Sunday, when they said that he went in to the hospital on Friday and was going to be released on Monday? They let him out on Friday. He was there almost a week. Well, yeah, he went on Friday, but you didn't say he did until Sunday. Then when you announced it Monday morning that he was going to get out, he didn't get out, and they kept him in on Friday. But thank God this brings us the chance to throw the wife under the bus. Because when the Supreme Court hearings don't go the way, again, the Republicans just don't do anything. Don't do anything. Democrats have already made it clear that we have this vote. We don't need you. Have a good time. Let us know how that works. Oh, because we'd have to challenge in the Supreme Court, and then currently, oh, hey, is that suite over at the lodge that Scalia stayed at available? I would have a Jello tester, a food taster. I'd have somebody start in my car. I'm just saying. Thank you for being a part of this experiment. This will continue through March 30th, and then we'll make, based on your comments, suggestions, and ideas, a format if required, and or time changes, and or shorts, and or whatever. I have shorts on. Anyway, be well, be safe, be very leery of the headlines. Subscribe and or like or don't, but be ready for a 30-day encapsulation of the news, because that was where my brain was like in the old days of 60 minutes, three stories. No, well, there are a couple, three major, and you could put them in the pile and of these. All right, so you ever notice that your parents liked Andy Rooney more than you did? I always wondered why that was. Good night, everybody. We'll see you at skirtermcgee.com and on social media. And if you enjoy the product, please at least throw me a Starbucks double mocha latte frappuccino once a month and support me on Patreon. Be well, everybody.